Thank you for taking the time to join us, Ivette. Good to see you. And Amanda, good to see you too. And they are from Phoenix International. And we would love to hear your story of how you made that pivot from the traditional brick and mortar learning environment to the remote learning environment for your students and staff to ensure that there was no lag of learning. And how did Pt.1 help you in this process?
Sure, I'll start. I'm Ivette. I'm the executive director, so I'll speak a little bit from the administrative perspective. We were at the tail end of our spring break when school was canceled, and we had one day as a staff to make sure and really put systems in place around the question, how can we pull this off, this distance learning thing off without breaking our promises to our families? And our promise is really centered around, we will give your child what they need when they need it. And so Pt.1 made it, for math at least, pretty seamless for us. Our students already had laptops. It was about figuring out how to deliver them. We had hotspots, and we kind of knew what materials they needed because they use them every day during the independent portions of the Pt.1 lessons. So we put the wheels in motion to replicate those systems at home. We knew what they needed. We knew what note takers they needed. And so it was about really just moving what was happening here to their homes. Already knowing that using Pt.1 was keeping that promise of kids getting what they need, which would have been like pretty impossible to do using any other system, given the strains on teachers everywhere right now. So those systems were delivered to their homes. And I think the second part that made it, from the administrative perspective, pretty seamless was the data that comes with using Pt.1. So students had their note takers, their computers, their hotspots, but that didn't mean that they were necessarily going to be mastering content or engaging, in particular when the content is different for every student. The lessons are different for every student. So that Pt.1 continued to provide us the data that we were already getting before around, my kids completing exit slips? Are they mastering them? Are they close? Who do I need to touch in with a little bit more because they aren't mastering their exit slips? And the professional development that we received and the training that we gave to parents so that they would already know how to do this, that was already in place. So our parents already knew how to access the portal and all of those things. So it was a huge relief on our plate that we didn't have to retrain students, retrain parents. It was really just about replicating systems in a different environment. And I'll let Amanda talk about from the teacher's perspective.
Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, just to kind of echo what Ivette was just saying, on that one planning day that we had together as a staff, I can remember it greatly. TTO was one of like the only things that was the first thing we talked about, and we were like, oh, well, it's already good to go, because like Ivette said, the system, the structure was already there. And so that to me was the most exciting part of that planning day, that we knew that kids were going to have at least one thing that they could already be good at, one thing that was not confusing in a really sort of already confusing time for them. They had a lot of questions, but to be totally honest, like TTO has not been a stressor of ours during this entire time. And I attribute that really to all of the structures that the program itself allows the kids to really like latch onto and really know on their own. And so we've seen out of the like 5 or 6 content areas that we've been teaching, by far TTO is the highest engagement when we look at it across the board, grade level 4 through 8. Without a doubt, TTO has the highest engagement piece. So it's just been really helpful to have that system already in place. And I know our students are still really excited. We get feedback from them every day, just about like how they're still feeling successful. I think, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think they're feeling super successful in every single area, because this is a hard time, right? And it's a confusing time. But I know that in PTO, they're still seeing that success on a daily basis with their greens. I still have kids text me that they got the sparkly green today on their exit slip. And to be honest, as a teacher, it has kind of lifted my spirits a little bit to know that there's at least one sort of harmonious piece of their day. So it's been wonderful to have.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thanks for sharing what you're doing, and thanks for doing such an amazing job. You and your teachers have done a great job just making sure that students are receiving the just right math instruction remotely. So thank you.